What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm out here in the shop today and I got a little project that I'm going to start. I bought this brake controller, I don't know, like 6 or 8 months ago because it's on sale at half price. It was marked down at Tractor Supply. I went in there for something else and anyway, found this, got this, and my thought was one day I may put this in my 18-wheeler in case I need to tow a trailer with electric brakes. And anyway, it's been sitting over there on the shelf. And so today I'm going to start trying to put it in there. I don't have all the wiring I need, but I'm going to try to get the brake controller mounted, and I'm going to try to get a wire run from the brake light switch wired to this. I think I have enough wire to do that, and I have some more wire and stuff coming that I'll add to the rest of this video when we finish the install. All right, guys, so we're out here in the truck, and here's what I think I got figured out. I think the easiest place for me to get a signal for the brake controller is off of the relay that goes right here. I got it out right here. This goes to the trailer brake tail light, or trailer brake stop lamps is what this relay is for. And from what I got figured out here, the terminals on each side here activate the relay. This terminal right here, I believe it is the power from the fuse, which I need to look up, but I tried to look on the back side of this and I think it comes over here. It may be this one here. I need to verify that on the fuse panel over there, but I think it's that right there. Anyway, when these two here activate this relay, the relay jumps the power from here to here. So I should be able to tie into this wire right here on the back side of this box somewhere, or wherever I can find a good place to tie into this wire at right here, and use that wire because your pressure switch is what closes the relay. Your pressure switch under the dash, that's what your brake lights work on off of these Volvos, the pressure switch, which I think most 18-wheelers is that way. So when the pressure switch closes, it one of these terminals here closes the relay, allows power to come from here over to here, which sends power to your trailer stop lamps. So I should be able to tie into that wire, take that wire down to my brake controller, use that as a signal wire, and that should be pretty simple. At least I think so. I need to verify which fuse it is though. I'm thinking this is 30 amp right here. Let me verify that real quick. Okay, that is correct. The F43 right here, 30 amp fuse. The wire comes from here, goes over to right here. This top terminal is your power from the fuse. As I say, when the relay closes, it sends power from here over to here. That activates your trailer stop lamps. So we need to tie in over here on this side that big wire, which is, this is from your fuse here. You see it goes over here and it goes in right over there. And then this other wire here is going down this way. I'm going to have to trace it out and get me a spot to where I can tie into it, and then I'll run that down through the dash over here. About to lose my parts, my relay, down through the dash, and we're going to mount the brake controller right in this area right here, I believe is what I'm going to do. So that should work. Let me see if I can cut some of those zip ties over here and get me a spot to where I can tie a wire into that in a good spot where I can make a good connection on it somehow. Alright guys, I know the lighting's probably not the greatest. It's getting dark on me outside, so I pulled up in the shop here. This is the wire right here that goes to that relay down there. After it goes through the relay, when you mash the brake pedal, you can see where I pinned it right here with the voltmeter. When you mash the brake pedal, you get 12 volts right here to this wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie another wire into this wire here, and I'm going to run that wire over there to our brake controller. There are several ways you could go about doing this. By no means is this probably the best way. I'm sure somebody's going to tell me there's a better way. And you're probably right, there probably is. But this is the way that I'm going to do it, and it should work. All right, so I stripped off a piece of insulation off that. I got me a piece of number 14 wire. This is just a signal wire. It's not carrying any amperage going to the brake controller. That's from a different wire. This is just a signal wire to let the brake controller know when the brakes are activated. So I'm going to tie this into that and solder it, and then tape it up and good and everything. You know, you could use a wire tap. I don't trust those. You could try to cut the wire, solder it back together. That way you can put heat shrink on it. But there's no way really to get heat shrink on it, because the way the wire is, there's not enough room to slide the heat shrink down. It would melt and shrink before you got the joint hot enough to solder it. So that's really not an option. So wrap this around there. I'm going to solder it to it and then tape it up. I don't know if you'll be able to see what I'm doing or not. Maybe. I'll let this joint get hot. I'll just wrap that wire around there. It takes these big wires a little bit to get hot. A little hard to solder sometimes. Soldering gun don't want to get hot enough, quick enough anyway. Unfortunately, that didn't work out with the iron, or the soldering iron. Yeah, so we're moving to more primitive methods. I believe that'll work. Now I'll let it cool off, put some tape on it. All right, we got our wire connected, all taped up. Now you can argue that may not be the best insulation job. You might be right, but it is very much connected. And it is a good connection. So I'm going to put a zip tie back on here. Hold these wires like it was. We should be good to go on that. So now I gotta route this down in through yonder. Somewhere. I need to take that panel off the floor down there first. Probably shine a light up through there. I can see where I'm pushing my wire. Alright, so I got a fuse box mounted back down in there. I routed the wire right here down below the duct right here, so there's nothing sharp for it to catch on. And then I'm going to run it straight down from here down through the dash. I don't know if I'll be able to show this or not. I'll try. You can see the light right down through there off my phone. It's a straight shot down through there. I had to remove the bottom panel down here that goes above the accelerator pedal. That's it on the floor right there. I know the lighting's horrible. Anyway, I may just leave that panel off because it creates a problem. And if I mount that brake controller right there, there's actually a screw you got to take out in order to remove that panel that goes right here, as you see. And so I think I'm just going to put that screw back in there and leave that panel off because I don't think it's going to be an issue. But that panel is hard to deal with. Anytime you need to do something up in there, it's hard to deal with. So I think I'm just going to leave that off. And so there is our wire hanging down right there, as you can see. I'm going to leave a little slack in that and zip tie it up in there out of the way, cut it off a little shorter, then I'll be ready to mount the brake control right there and tie that wire into it. Alright guys, so there is where I have chosen to mount it. I'll get my light to stay there. That's the bracket, and then this is the brake controller right there. Snaps down in. Anyways, like that. So that should be about the right spot there where I can access it and it doesn't get in the way of anything. Alright guys, I got some wire in. This is what I'm going to use right here for the brake controller. This is 10 gauge, 2 conductor. It's got a protective sheath around it, as you see there. 2 wires in that. And I've got whatever I did with them, some fuse holders somewhere. Let me figure out what I did with them. Okay, found the fuse holders. Order these, and I'm just going to put a 30 amp fuse in this. Should be all I need for what I plan to do. You can use a circuit breaker on there, may be a better option. You can get some 40 amp circuit breakers, and you know, they will reset. Maybe a better option depending on what you want to do. I figured these would work just fine. I've got some 30 amp fuses, I believe, already. So it's just a standard 30 amp fuse. I'll snip this wire, splice it in here. That'll give us a good power and ground from the battery. I've got some ring terminals that'll go on this and hook it directly to the battery. I've got to drill a hole in the bottom of the floor and put a grommet in it so that I can run this wire from the battery up to the brake controller, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. Alright guys, so here we are in the truck. There's where the brake controller mounts to, right there, and the wiring is going to come down from there, go up under here, and I'm going to zip tie it down where that red wire is right there, zip tied to that wiring harness, go up under the floor mat. I've pulled the door seal out right here, as you see, and we're going to lift up this floor mat here, and so that I'll be able to drill a hole somewhere over here, right down through here somewhere, up under the, kind of out of the way wherever I can find to come through, and the batteries are straight up under the door here on this truck. And so we just want to find a spot that we can come through without getting into any wires or anything under there. And there's actually 2 lines that's got to come through here. One is the power wire that we're fixing to run to the brake controller. It'll be a power and a ground that goes straight to battery. The other wire will be the brake wire from the brake controller that go down and have to go down the frame rail of the truck all the way to the back there to the 7-way plug that we'll be mounting. So we may not be able to do that tonight, but I want to go ahead and get the power and ground wire run tonight. Alright guys, so I've decided that right here is going to be the best place to put my hole to go through. There's nothing directly up under this spot, so I'll be able to go through, and I'm going to put a grommet right here. I've got a grommet. This is just simply a grommet from a 3/4 inch push-in LED light. That's all that is. So I'm going to drill the hole for this grommet, put the grommet right there, run our wires through. Alright, there's our hole. Here's our grommet. There we go. And we got a hole and we got a grommet, and we're ready to run our wire down through there. Alright guys, this is the end that's going to hook to the battery right here. That's our hot. It's on the black wire. I used a solder and heat shrink connector right here. which is what these are. And I wrapped over it with tape just for extra protection. And since it's going to be in the battery compartment, and that'll probably rub, so put a little extra protection on their electrical tape. And got those crimped on there, shrunk down. So all I got to do now is figure out the length of my wire, run it through my grommet, and then we will get this tied into the brake controller. I figured these would be easier to deal with up under the dash. Instead of having to solder it and heat shrink it, I bought these. Hopefully that'll make things go a little bit better. You're supposed to be able to just melt these with the heat gun there, and supposed to work. All right, guys, here's what we got going on. This is the pigtail from the brake controller right there. Your blue wire goes to your 7-way plug on the back of the truck, on this one anyway. Your red wire is going to go to that red wire right there, which we run to the stop lamp relay up in the dash. That's where it gets its signal from. And the brake controller takes that signal, turns it into power on the blue line, or blue wire, and sends it to the 7-way plug. The black wire and the white wire is your hot and ground. The black is supposed to be hot and the white is supposed to be ground on this controller according to the instructions. So we're going to hook them up to the wire that we just run here, just like that. And you see where I got this zip tied in, where I was telling you, above the accelerator pedal, up under the floor mat, comes over here, goes through a grommet right there, comes out on the bottom, and this is it down here. We'll be able to hook this to our batteries. So I'm going to get this connected up. Really can't film that. The lighting in here is not great. There's not very much room here, but I'm going to start getting this wired up and tidied up, and I'll bring you back when I get done. All right, guys, that's what we're looking like so far. I went ahead and put some tape on these for extra protection, good measure, I guess. And I will zip tie these up in under somewhere to get them out of the way so they're not hanging down. So all we got to do now is run another wire down through a hole over here that we drill with a grommet, and connect to that wire and run it to the back of the frame back there, and the brake controller part will be done. All right, so I really was not planning on doing this yet, but I decided to go ahead and run the 2 wires. I got to have 2 wires coming to the back of the truck back here somewhere. One is going to go to the brake controller, get power from the brake controller, bring it back to the back of the truck where 7-way plug can go. The other one is going to be a hot and a ground for the 7-way plug, and the hot powers your breakaway battery, charges it up, whatever accessories you have on the trailer, and obviously the ground as well for a ground, and that will go straight to the battery. So I need 2 runs of that jacketed wire up towards the front of the truck. One goes to the batteries, to the plug. The other one goes to the plug, to the brake controller, to get that blue wire signal back here somewhere. Let me look around and figure out an idea where I'm going to mount this. I had to drop my trailer. I really wasn't planning on doing this tonight, but since I'm already in the gear to do it, I guess I dropped the trailer. That way I can get up in here and run my wires and be able to zip tie it to this and everything. So let me get it kind of sorted out, and I may go ahead and run this wire. Not a whole lot of filming I'm going to be able to do up under there. It's dark, as you see. I'm just going to run this wire down and zip tie it to the existing wiring harness all the way down through the frame up under the truck beside the transmission, come over one on the batteries, and the other one will come over and go up through that grommet and go in the cab. All right, guys, so I got my wire here. I run 2 strands. I cut one off. I run it to the front of the truck, kind of got my length somewhat right. It may be too long. I may have to cut it off and waste a little wire. But anyway, I electrical taped it about every 6 to 8 inches down there and got me a coil of it. And I got it up here. And I got one of them a little longer than the other one here. This one is going to go in the truck to the brake wire. And the other one here is going to go to the battery. And I taped all these, or taped both of these together here. I put a zip tie right there on that spot. But anyway, I wrapped about 3 wraps of electrical tape around it, 6 inches all the way down. That way I only have to get on the truck one time, hopefully, and pull this through. And they'll both be together, and then I can zip tie it and be done. I only have to get up under there, kind of one time deal, instead of having to run it, pull 2 separate wires 2 separate times. All right, guys, there's what we're looking like on the dash. That's the brake controller right there. You can see the lever on it, maybe. There's the wiring. I've got my 2 wires. Again, one of those goes to the back of the truck, the other goes to the battery. They're all zip tied up there, and I might put that cover back on there. I'll have to notch a spot right there for these wires, and I can put that cover back on there. I'm not gonna worry with that right now. I gotta put my door seal back on here, but I got the wires laid in there like they're supposed to go. Cut my light out before I kill the battery. And these are the 2 wires that we run right here. This longer one is the one that goes inside the truck. I'll snip the white wire out of it, keep the black wire. It goes to your brake on your 7-way plug. This here is a hot and a ground for your 7-way plug. The rest of the wires of the 7-way plug I'm going to get off of my tail lights here. You got a left turn, right turn, running light, and reverse light on a 7-way plug. I can get all of that right there without having to run any kind of conversion box or anything. The conversion boxes, actually you got to run a jackalope, I believe, on a Volvo, and probably a lot of other. The conversion boxes don't really work. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, on a semi, your trailer lights, your stop light, and your turn signals are separate. On the back of the truck, they're together like a conventional vehicle is. So if you try to wire a 7-way plug off of your 7-way trailer wiring, it will not work without some kind of conversion box or something. And the Volvos sense a signal if you got a bulb out, so the conversion boxes usually don't work. They make a thing called a jackalope a guy makes. It's got relays in it, and it will work. That's what he designed it for. And but you should be able to just tie into your tail lights here, because the truck already has a conversion device in the fuse panel up there that basically does it for you. So you should be able to tap into the tail lights with your 7-way plug, and that should work, and leave your trailer wiring alone. Alright, so I went ahead and snipped that white wire off, because the black wire is the one that comes from the brake controller, and that's just your hot and your ground. I'm not crazy about those connectors I bought. It's got the solder in them. I mean, they work, but a couple of them I went back and soldered and put heat shrink on. I wasn't really happy with the way that a couple of the joints turned out, but anyway, they do work. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna go ahead and put that 7-way plug on or not. I mean, I could, but I could also wait. All right, guys, so I went ahead and mounted my 7-way plug here. This one has the LEDs in it there to show you. And I'll just snip this little 4-way off, wire it in, and then our blue wire there is going to go to our brake, and I believe black is hot and white is ground. I know white's ground because it's got a terminal on it, so I believe that'll wire right into here. And then all I like is the rest of them here that tie into the stop lamps, reverse lamps. Alright guys, that is a wrap. I got it on there, got it wired in. I just wired it in right there behind this plug, because this just unplugged from the main wiring harness to the truck. This is just a little pigtail right here, plugs there, goes to your 3 lights back here on the back. Everything seems to be working on it according to the LEDs there, and so we should be good to go on that. Not going to worry about trying to hook it up and test it or anything like that on a trailer. But I do got to connect this back to my air brake trailer, my flatbed, and get this thing out of here. And I'm going to go in the house, edit this video, take a shower, get something to eat, and all that good stuff.